Hey there, everybody, and happy Friday. We'll give folks just a few minutes to file in. We're hosting a pretty casual session today. We've had a number of questions this week about navigating the Pietra platform and finding ways to source suppliers outside of China. So while we won't have a special guest today, I'm going to provide an overview of the Pietra sourcing marketplace and provide some tips and tricks for sourcing from factories outside of China. I'll provide an overview of the sourcing marketplace overall. We'll touch on a new DTC tariffs calculator that we are rolling out. And this will be streamed on all of our platforms for future viewing. So today will be a great session if you're pretty new to Pietra and looking to source outside of China. We'll have additional guests next week, along with our daily news updates from Prince. But today it's going to be me doing more of a demo style session based on some feedback we received and some requests to mix it up. So just a moment here, I'll get us started. I'll share my screen and provide everybody a refresher on the sourcing marketplace and some expert tips and tricks to make sure you're connecting with the factories in our network in the most effective and efficient way possible. Okay, I'll share my screen here. Okay, excellent. And Joanna, Yolanda, thanks so much for joining us. We have a pretty light attendee list today, which is great, and happy that you're able to join. Don't hesitate to ask any questions, or if you even need specific help on a project you're working on, I'm happy to demonstrate that during today's session. Okay. And for everybody on LinkedIn, thanks for tuning in with us and on our streaming service. Same goes for the YouTube audience. For those of you who are new to Pietra, Pietra is a modern infrastructure platform for better global commerce. And we aim to be the single platform that small businesses need to source new products, fulfill orders, improve their distribution channels, and increase their reach via our e-commerce and marketing tools. One additional responsibility that we see ourselves as fulfilling is keeping our customers informed of very important news topics and the global trade and tariffs policies in the recent months certainly qualify. So we've launched this web series to ensure all of our customers are feeling informed of news and policy updates from the Trump administration, post-Liberation Day updates on deep dive topics such as de minimis, exemptions, Incoterms, importer of record topics, licensed customs brokers, freight forwarders, HTS codes. We've really run the gamut of specialty topics, and we've posted recordings of all of those webinars across our social media channels. So if you haven't yet given us a follow, please do so at your convenience. We post regularly on LinkedIn, lots of information in our help center. My team and I are here to help existing customers as well. If you ever want to reach out to us via email support at creators@pietrastudio.com or by sending us a quick chat, we're very responsive there, especially during business hours. We also have included daily news updates with our webinar. We're doing these daily while the tariffs and trade updates were really the most popular news story of the day. We're keeping a very close watch on these, but we're going to mix things up a little bit by bringing in more special guests. Next week, you can expect some additional fulfillment-related guests. We're bringing in the CMO of ShipBob. We have some experts on the supplier side too, so keep an eye out for our calendar, and you're welcome to tune into these daily as well. Okay, Joanne, great to have you back. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And for anybody who is still getting used to the Pietra platform, There is a lot of information here, but one of the most important things that we do here at Pietra is provide access to a network of over 40,000 factories from across the world to help you source your products. And historically, we have had a good block of these factories located in China. Given the recent trade and tariff policy updates, we've also made some updates to our factory network in response to really important policy changes, demand changes from customers, and desires from brands and businesses to make a quick pivot or at least explore factories outside of China, given the high tariff policies in place. Now, there are a handful of ways to access the sourcing marketplace. We make it really clear here from the homepage. Sourcing is one of the most important pillars that we have here at Pietra. So for those of you who are new to this section of the website, I'll just provide an overview of the main menu options, what they're used for, ways to get in touch with factories, ways to submit custom project requests, etc. And as I said, anybody who has a question as we go, or if you're running into a specific item, we have a nice tight group today. I'm happy to answer those questions live for you, or we can even troubleshoot any issues you're facing together here on the live cast. So across the left side here, we have a number of main menu items, including the sourcing homepage. So anytime you want to get back to the sourcing homepage, just click sourcing home. Custom project requests. So this is going to include a list of any custom projects you have submitted to our factory network. Now, as I mentioned, there are a number of ways to get in touch with a factory. Custom project requests are a great way to connect with multiple factories at once. And you can do this by posting a custom project request. Anytime you see this orange button, simply click post a custom project, and it'll give you the option to select custom products, custom packaging, or freelancers and agencies. So this is going to be the actual products themselves. If you ever want to source boxes or poly mailers from us, you can submit them under custom packaging. And a little less known option is we actually list freelancers and agencies on our platform as well. So if you're looking for a little bit of design help or assistance with creating a logo, professional photography, those can actually be found on Pietra Sourcing Marketplace as well. Going down the line here, your inbox. So this is going to include any live chats with suppliers you have connected with, whether that's via a custom project request or if you've reached out to them manually. We also offer the ability to add custom tags to help you with sorting and filtering your various chats. So you can chat with an unlimited number of suppliers here in the inbox. And if you're working on multiple work streams or projects, it can be helpful to tag them using different terms. We'll also tag any Pietra recommended factories here. These are factories who we have worked on previous projects with or have special long-standing relationships with those factories. We might have done a managed service project with them before. So you can see anytime we have a Pietra recommended factory here, that is one that is specifically endorsed by us. Now, next to the personal inbox is our AI sourcing agent. So I want everybody to keep a close eye on this menu in the coming week. We're going to be rolling out a really powerful new aid here. Our AI sourcing agent is an AI assistant that is designed to help walk you through the sourcing process. So if you ever have questions about product specifications or need help making a tech pack, the AI sourcing agent is going to be a powerful tool to help you create that tech pack with the assistance of an AI agent. And Joanne, no apology needed. This webinar is for your benefit, and you can always come back and watch the recording. We've really enjoyed having you this week, so all good. Excellent. Going down the left side here, any live invoices that creators have open and have been created by your supplier will be listed here. Open orders and shipments. And then you can even favorite suppliers and specific products within those suppliers. I'll go into this in a little bit more detail when we explore the sourcing marketplace in further detail. Lastly, our product design studio would strongly encourage anybody who is really just getting started to explore the product design studio. This helps you create product renderings of items based on existing product catalogs or your own description. If you want to create a product description here, we have specific webinar recordings just on the product design studio in our help center. So would strongly encourage folks to check those out. And lastly, print on demand. Again, we have special webinar sessions and recordings on those. All can be found in our help center under Get Help right here. If you want to learn sourcing custom products, check out a webinar on storage and order fulfillment, or just quickly access our FAQ page, you can always go to the Get Help section of the website. Okay, back to the sourcing homepage here. So I'm going to illustrate an example of attempting to source a unique and custom product based on a reference product. So I'm looking to source, in this case, men's bonobos socks. Okay. So this is often the most straightforward way to locate a product that you have decided you want to source. Simply click the search bar, and there's going to be a lot of information that appears in the search results. And we sometimes get questions about how to navigate this information, and I want to provide a little bit more of a detailed breakdown on how to do that today. So at the top here, you'll see in-network and expanded network suppliers. So Pietra has two networks of suppliers. Our in-network suppliers are suppliers that have specifically signed up to partner with Pietra. They've spoken with our sourcing management team, either here in the US or one of our sourcing teams abroad. And they have created a supplier profile page on Pietra. Oftentimes they will have worked on previous projects with us. They are part of our kind of close-knit network of factories. Now, we've recently expanded our network to additional factories. So we now have more than 30,000 factories around the world, including China, Vietnam, India, Bangladesh, numerous other countries. Now, these factories, we basically enable you with a business tier membership to contact them directly. We provide their contact information. You can submit your project information to them and connect with those factories, which are part of the extended network. Okay. So if you are looking for a factory that's been a little bit more verified by Pietra, I would encourage you to stick in network. If you can't necessarily find the product listed in a in-network supplier, you can check out the expanded network really easily. All right. So going back to the information shown here, you can see all of our search results, which include a listing of factories who have created supplier profile pages on Pietra. Lots of results here. I'll click into main networks supplier profile page here in just a minute, but before I do that, I want to provide a couple of tips on navigating away from China. We've received a lot of questions about sourcing outside of China and how to best filter out Chinese suppliers, and I can quickly show you how to do that here. So you'll see on the left side, all the factories that are listed on the supplier and sourcing marketplace will share where their factory is located. So if you specifically wanted a Chinese supplier, you could select China in this case. If you wanted to go outside of China, or we're looking for a factory in Bangladesh, for example, or Pakistan, all you need to do is select that option if you were focusing on another market, and we'll display all of the factories who fit that search result profile down here on the left. Okay. Now, obviously, if you source within the US, these products will not incur any tariffs because they're being produced domestically. They won't cross any borders. No tariffs or duties will be due then. Now, if you happen to sell this product to a customer who is abroad, that customer's country will assess duties and tariffs to the customer at the time you ship them the item. So for example, if you ordered a production run of socks and you stored those socks either at your home for self-fulfillment, or you stored them at the Pietra warehouse for us to fulfill them, and you had an order from somebody in France who wanted to purchase your socks, that tariff in that case will be paid by the recipient of the items, just like you paid the tariffs when those items crossed the border from the production country into the United States. Okay, so generally no worries about having to pay duties and tariffs, even with these new trade policies. When you are selling items to your customers, those tariffs will be paid by the purchaser of the goods. If you were interested in paying or covering the duties and tariffs for your customers, or you wanted to bake that into your price, then you should look into shipping your items according to DDP, delivered duties paid shipping. And that can be set up with our e-commerce specialists in your Shopify store. And we'll set you up with special shipping rates, which will be higher than the DDU, delivered duties unpaid option. All can be set up with us. We do it all the time. And typically we'll be shipping via DHL. They are really flexible when it comes to shipping DDP. Okay, so any existing customers here on the line who are exploring covering the costs of duties for your end customers, don't hesitate to reach out to us at the creator help resources available to you. All right, excellent. So going down the line, you can see we have factories from multiple countries here. Anytime you want to see the options available, there's going to be a big focus on India in the coming months with these updated trade and tariff policies. You may have seen news headlines today about the Trump administration feeling especially excited about transitioning iPhone production away from China into India. That's a story that we're going to keep a close eye on, given Apple's importance in the market. Excellent. Going down to the left, now you might have to get used to different sampling price ranges, especially if you've sourced from China before. If you've sourced from China in the past, you're probably familiar with lower per unit costs for your items themselves, higher shipping costs, and slower shipping timelines. And now you'll be getting accustomed to higher duties and tariffs paid after those items cross the border, or if your supplier is delivering your items DDP, delivered duties paid, those costs will be added in before you ship the items, before they ship the items to you here in the US if you're based in the US. Now, just to say that one more time, when you are purchasing items from a supplier who's outside of the US, you and the supplier can discuss whether they want to ship those items DDP, delivered duties paid, or DDU, delivered duties unpaid. And those options are going to result in different prices for your items on the invoice that is generated on Pietra. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Have open discussions with your supplier about it. And just keep in mind that all of your supplier discussions will live here in your inbox. Excellent. And folks, if you have any questions about anything I'm showing you right now, don't hesitate to drop them in the chat. I know we're a small group today, but happy to field those questions for you. Okay. So here you'll see sampling price ranges, production minimums, which will help filter out any suppliers who don't necessarily meet your specifications. So for example, if you're on a pretty tight timeline and you wanted to source items within 1 to 2 months, you can update those options. And again, you might see that some of the US suppliers might not be able to meet those timelines. Main netware fell off in that example. But nonetheless, let's imagine that I want to source within the United States. So I'm going to explore main networks sourcing and supplier profile. Here in the upper left, you can see a nice description that the supplier provides to describe itself: nationally leading manufacturer of men's ties. And even if they don't necessarily display their sock catalog, they showed up under the sock search here. That means that they can make them even though they haven't shown this snapshot of their product catalog. If I wanted to reach out to them, all I need to do just send them a quick note. If you have any design files, you can attach those. And then you'll see our AI assistant here is going to suggest some helpful updates to make your request easier for the supplier to engage. Example of those options. In this case, I want to produce casual socks with a wool blend and adhering to eco-friendly production standards. Simply send that message. And then we'll even suggest some similar factories if you wanted to reach out to multiple factories. Great question from Rachel here. And no, this was not addressed yet today, Rachel. So Rachel asked one of her suppliers about how they are handling tariffs, and they said customs duties are already included in sea shipping, so there's no need to pay additional costs. Would that be considered delivered duties paid? Yes, that would be considered delivered duties paid in this case, Rachel. And what's likely going to happen is the supplier has reached an agreement with the carrier in this case, and they have already baked in the price of the tariffs in the top line price that you're paying. So you should not have to worry about paying tariffs in this case, since they're delivered duties paid. Any issues with crossing the product over the border should be addressed between the supplier and their freight forwarder directly. If they need additional information from you, they'll definitely reach out, but you should be all set in this case. Again, I'm not a customs broker or a freight forwarder, so just take this as general advice and with a grain of salt. If you have additional questions, go ahead and ask your supplier directly. They're really on top of all of the changes as well, especially if they are based in China, and they should be able to provide you an accurate update. And Rachel, thanks for joining. We received some requests for an overview of how to identify out of China suppliers. So we're doing a quick special session today on Creator Hub sourcing marketplace navigation. And this is being cast to all of our social platforms as well. We'll be back next week with additional guests and updates on any news events from the weekend. Stay tuned for a schedule from there. Okay, now we sometimes get questions about contacting multiple suppliers at once, and I'm going to go back to my custom product project request item here. So in this case, if I want to submit a custom project request, I'm able to submit this form here, which will enable me to connect with multiple suppliers at the same time. So anybody who's interested in submitting a custom product request, all you need to do here is provide a quick overview of what your product is. You submit this form, you decide whether or not you're comfortable with readily available merchandise, share a little bit more about your budget, submit this form, and then it will share your custom project request with multiple factories at once. All right. And just a couple of other expert tips and tricks here for folks who are getting used to navigating the sourcing marketplace. Like I said, search is a great way to locate a specific product or product category if you're looking to launch a new item that way. You can also browse suppliers by region. You'll see here we have a ton of factories in India. We actually have China second here, but India must now be our second most popular category here. So you can see folks are diversifying their production pretty quickly. And you can also choose to browse according to merchandise category here. Okay. Men's fashion. For example, I wanted to source pants. We always enable you to sort by product subcategory within that merchandise category as well. Okay. All right, folks. So that is an overview of the sourcing marketplace here. Great opportunity for beginners, folks who are maybe sourcing a product for the first time, and you got caught by surprise with the duties and tariffs. You might have been pursuing exclusively Chinese suppliers in the past, but we give you a lot of opportunities to diversify either by sorting, filtering, checking out a specific country, what have you. Okay. Now, with the last couple of minutes here, I want to share a new feature that we are rolling out and just launching over the weekend. Very exciting. So we have actually launched an informational import duty calculator. So everybody should still strongly recommend consulting with a licensed customs broker and your freight forwarder if you have questions about duties and tariffs. That said, we've also created an informational tool that allows you to enter your product details to calculate expected import duties and taxes. What we'll do is analyze the product and provide you with the relevant HTS code and some tariff information to help you make your decision. Now, in this example, I'm going to go ahead and look at my Bonobo socks reference. Or Bomba socks, I think. They do have Bonobo socks. Click through that ad there. So let's say I want to create a product that is quite similar to this Bonobo sock pair. And I wanted to see what the estimated tariffs would be if I sourced this product from China and I was importing into the United States. Our new tool allows us to analyze the product. And the result here is going to show our HTS code, estimated tariffs, and share some product details. Now, again, this is informational here based on the HTS code and the current policy, showing a pretty high tariff rate of 265%. That seems a little bit high for my guess, but it will give you a good general estimate of what your expected tariffs will be. You'll see they're going to be much lower if I decide to source this item from Mexico. And one more time, that's dtctariffs.com. This is a very new feature for us. See, estimated tariffs from Mexico is going to be 25%. That is accurate as far as I know the current policy to be. Okay, folks. So again, we're running a pretty quick webinar today for a Summer Friday or early Summer Friday. It feels like summer here in New York already. And we will be resuming our podcasts with Prince and the rest of the team, along with our special guests on Monday. Keep an eye out for updates over the weekend and into early next week. Really appreciate everybody tuning in for what has been a really successful web series. We took a break on Wednesday of this week, and we were able to lock down another special guest. We'll have another calendar out shortly. And if anybody has individual questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have my contact information, Tyler at pietrastudio.com. Otherwise, our creator support team, creators at